municipal utility in the state of Minnesota, and is also a member of our power agency, as well as St. Peter Public Utilities and Minstrel. So that's the residential rates.
I can't see that very well. Can you tell me where do we fall on there? Are we in the middle or the top end, the bottom end?
I've got some handouts.
And where do we fit in relation to Excel Energy? If no one else has questions, I have a few.
Okay. Excel Energy, I know you've asked me about Excel Energy. Excel Energy is an independent-owned utility.
Yep.
They're a billion-dollar industry.
So are we higher or lower than that?
We're higher. There is nobody
Okay.
that can compete with Excel.
Thank you.
Well, Excel has so many rates and so many different components of a rate, but their base rate for residential is $10 a month customer charge, and they're at about 8 cents a kilowatt. But they have all different, as you see here, Elk River has an energy storage charge, a dual fuel charge. Now, I'm not going to stand here and say that that's charged to every person, but Excel has a lot of components like that.
Thank you.
But their customer charge is $10 a month, and it might be a little bit less in the winter. It's hard to, when you go to their website, and they're 9 to 10 cents.
So I think from that information, it looks like we're somewhere in the middle or so.
Yep. We're less than all of the co-ops, basically. I mean, that's with the exception of Connexus. And we're very comparable to Elk River with just the kilowatt hour and the customer charge.
Thank you.
The other thing, I'll go on to the commercial rates. Anybody else want their own handout? I've got extra handouts. The more you get into, when you go away from residential rates and you start looking at small commercial rates, fewer and fewer utilities post their rates because there are so many components. Usage, demand charge, time of use, time of day. When you get to large power, very few. Most of them you just have to call, and because there's transformer costs, so many different variables. But this is, again, us comparing to Elk River and Rochester is the only other commercial, the one that I can find that had small commercial comparable to us. I mean, when I say comparable, I mean size. The larger. And I'm happy to, when next time I go to a simple meeting, I can do a survey or something like that. We do not charge a customer charge for our large commercial rates. We are a little bit higher per kilowatt hour because of that. Our demand charge was actually a little bit higher than last year. This is what we were able to reduce.
Is there a way to magnify what's on there? How does that work?
I have extra printouts if you.
So there might be,
Or,
I think Steve's going to show us how.
I'd love that. You can almost read those numbers.
Oh, there we go.
Okay, thank you.
Thanks. Good question.
one of the things that we have been able to do, we have built up some reserves. So we are as in the electric department, we are in the process of changing all of the street lighting out to LED lighting. This isn't a cheap thing to do. We have spent just in excess of $80,000 over the last 3.5 years. We've done all the main roadway. We converted that all to LED. We have gotten some rebates back on it. And we're working on all of the side streets, changing those out. But it is paying off. We've spent $80,000 in the last 3.5 years. We've cut down the kilowatt usage. The estimated 2015 street lighting kilowatts for the town, again in 2015, was just under 1 million kilowatt hours. At our wholesale rate, we're talking about a cost of $60,000 a year. This last year in 2017, our street lighting kilowatt usage for the town was just over 500,000 kilowatts. So we've cut the kilowatt usage down just about in half. But so anticipate that it will pay for itself in just a few years.
You know, on that point, Connie, I just wanted to mention a couple of things. Now, Steve, as I understand, utilities is picking up the cost for the street lighting, electric bill, correct? For the street lights, and that's
No, not too many. You do just a little bit on Rum River Drive.
that we pay.
That's the only.
That's not always,
Pay for everything.
and which is not always the case. So I wanted to just bring that to light to the council, and also the street light replacement. Either you're paying a rental fee in many cities, or you're buying the street lights. So that's a benefit that you have here too.
Most utilities, and we are one of them, that have very old distribution systems. So with the money that we have been able to build up over the last few years, we are reinvesting into the system. We are each year, we are converting our overhead system to an underground system and upgrading and raising the voltage for a much more efficient system. We basically have the south end is pretty much done. And as we're doing this, we are offering a reduced service or a reduced cost to customers that have overhead, allowing them to put their customer-owned service underground at a much reduced rate and giving them basically a year or two to pay it off.
When was that offered? How was it offered? I don't recall. My neighbor was asking me, that's why, and he was told that too, but he never got an offer to do that. And I'm wondering
Should have
when.
gotten a letter when we were working in the area, but if you were missed, we can work with you on it.
Okay, yeah, I'm just wondering.
But we've also now implemented, talk about fees, we did implement last year what we're calling a service replacement fee. If you will notice this on your utility bills, both in the electric and the water, we are charging $1 a month fee. What this is, it's an insurance policy. If you have your water service breaks, anything happens to it, the service from the main into your home, it's your responsibility in the past to replace that. That is no longer the case. If something happens to your water service or your overhead or underground electric service, the utilities will replace it or hire a contractor, in the case with water, to put the new service in. So, and again, in the water department, we didn't get into water rates at all, but and basically we're doing the same. We're looking at areas of big concern. Again, we have infrastructure that's out there that's old, that we needed to build up some reserves, because we have been able to do all of this work in the last few years without borrowing any money, and it has saved us a tremendous amount of interest.
Any questions for Connie?
Connie, could you comment on your plans for rates?
This point, we are hoping, well, there will not be a rate increase in 2018. SIMPA is talking about a rate increase in 2019, possibly a 1 to 2%. We are really hopeful that we are going to be able to absorb it and not.
And you were saying that last two rate increases, you were able to absorb them.
Yeah, but like I said, in 2016, we had about just a very minute. We did increase our customer charge in the residential $1.50, and we increased the kilowatt hour 1/10 of a cent. But then the following year, we were able to reduce some of the commercial rates because we realized we were higher, and we want to be able to attract businesses just like you guys do.
Connie, we're SIMPA with SIMPA.
SIMPA is Southern Minnesota
Right.
Municipal Power Agency. They're located in Rochester.
So are all of these under the same one then, or?
The Elk River is not, but the three in the small commercial cheap. Rochester, St. Peter, and New Prague are.
SIMPA, that's the organization that we buy our
That's our
electric from.
wholesale power provider, yes.
How many are in that?
18 members.
Okay. How would we stack up with like the other 14, 15 then with rates? Do we have any idea how we would be?
Rochester, we're all pretty comparable. There are some very small ones. Blooming Prairie, Preston, their rates are lower.
Do you know how much lower? Or?
It would be a guess, but they are probably somewhere than 10 cents per kilowatt hour. But there again, they don't, I'm not here to bash anybody, but they don't do a lot for their system. I mean, they just, and they're finding out. You talk to them at the SIMPA or at the meetings now, and they're all looking at rate increases just because everybody is realizing that their system is old and they need to start.
Sure.
What's a power cost adjustment? I see it that, for example, Connexus is a power cost adjustment. Does that mean it goes up or down? Or
Yep,
what?
every month they evaluate what their expenses are and what their revenue was for the last month. We actually do a calculation that too. And there's some months where we should charge for it. We've just tried to build it into our rate so we don't. It's every month you add to your bill.
Okay.
Central Energy 90% of the time has a power cost adjustment on it. Well,
Are you saying it's usually up?
typically it's up, but
Okay, thank you.
There-
Just wanted a little
during the
bit of
winter
guidance.
months,
Okay.
there will be some reductions in it.
One more question. I noticed a number of these electric companies have the summer, winter months. Summer, winter. We don't. Is that just to keep it simple and not?
Well,
You know.
our wholesale power rates are the same year round. It's a way, I could understand doing it more to a commercial business than I could a residential, because during the summer, the demand of a business, usually their KW demand goes up.
Any more questions for Connie?
When you talk about the, what you call it, the power adjustment,
Power cost adjustment?
that's an added administrative fee that we're not doing at the other, I would think.
Yep.
So that's gonna cost the money to do that, but we're not,
Take
we're busy
St.
doing it in our
St.
year
Peter
budget.
used to do that a lot, but if you all know, 10 years ago, I think, or maybe it's been more, that the tornado went through St. Peter and wiped out the town. After they rebuilt their overhead system, with quite a bit of assistance with FEMA, they were able to go back and get FEMA money. That whole town is now underground. So, so there again, Princeton has a lot of trees in town, and so we are working to put more and more underground.
And then, sorry. Our costs for new businesses and new residential customers, how do we compare in that area? For deposits and basically the new customer fee or?
Well, if you're talking deposits, again, because we do bill for the electric, water, and sewer, you know, we do have a little bit higher deposit. We have a $350 residential deposit. We have reduced it with some of the apartment buildings that just don't, you know, if they don't pay their bill for 2 or 3 months and it still doesn't get to be $350, we have reduced those. We've actually worked with some of the landlords to reduce deposits by getting them to sign an agreement that if the tenant doesn't pay or skips out, the landlord is in favor of it, or will sign it and we'll pay the bill. They've come to us and asked us to do that, so we've done that. As far as new construction, I can't tell you right offhand tonight how we compare. We're right in the ballpark. I mean, when I talk to other general managers and stuff with the costs of transformers, and I'm sure we're right very close, but I can't give you any figures tonight. But I'm happy to meet with any one of you and provide you with that information.
Anything else for Connie? Thank you so much.
All right, thank you.
Okay, also you have the Airport Advisory Board meeting minutes, just for your information. The petition, block party generator use request. And Bob, you're aware of this and you're okay to
Yes.
have them used?
Motion to approve?
Second.
Motion made and seconded, discussion. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Thank you. Moving down to unfinished business. Franchise fees.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. In front of you is the proposed franchise fee trail improvement program that summarizes existing park amenities as well as proposed priority projects that the staff and park board members have generated, and also funding methods to be considered with the recommendation to implement franchise fee on these projects. The council has seen this plan in draft form. Tonight we had an open house where we discussed the plan and talked about funding options, the levy impacts versus franchise fee impacts to implement the plan, and generally had some positive feedback. One comment was a gentleman who was excited to see projects enhancing the Rum River because it's such an important community. Another comment city administrator mentioned was to provide a mailing to the property owners to provide more transparency and to also provide just another opportunity to reach as many people as we can, because not everyone is regardless the feedback, and so it's really just to try to reach as many, make every opportunity we can to reach as many people. So at this time, we're asking council to adopt the franchise fee trail and park improvement program and to consider the potential mailing.
I could just add a couple of things. So if you decide to adopt the plan today, what that will do is give us the structure we need to proceed to put the ordinance together so that it would be under consideration for the council. We bring those back. We'd bring them back, as was mentioned, we'll either bring them back in August or we'll bring them back in September. So either we proceed right now and we're not going to do the say utility stuffer, or we'll do a utility stuffer and we'll proceed to the September 13th and 27th meeting. It's really up to the council. But first of all, going back to the plan, if the plan is the direction the council is comfortable with, that would be good to get that. I think overall, a few members of the public that did show up were supportive.
I was just going to make that comment myself. I was at that meeting, and regardless of how the funds would be generated for these projects, they were well received.
Sure, go ahead, Connie.
This says the utility. Appreciate it, our staff, that it would be. When it gets added to a bill, people don't know whether they're for it or not. If they don't know about it, they don't like it. All it. Perhaps they'll, they'll say what you want. At least if you get the word out, it gets guys. Not there. Really helpful.
Mhm.
All the, on the utility bills, that line item, how is it gonna be verbalized? Will it be enough to explain to a user when they get their bill that they're gonna understand it's for parks and trails and not your church or?
There was enough room to put that.
I mean, old story, but I think the right wordage could hopefully stave off some of that. I don't know, I don't have an answer.
I don't think we could do. I think we gotta call it a franchise. I don't know that we can call it. I don't think we can call it.
Yeah, I don't know either, I'm asking.
It's a line item on the bill that says, you know,
If I could just throw something real quick. Answer a lot of customer complaints. That's my life. Bill they get is their like. Answer a lot of. We want water less.
Mhm.
Are there any questions regarding the report that was received?
No, I think it's well done.
If there's any surprises in there.
They plan to leave the boards here. These will be for informational purposes. Should anybody wish to stop by City Hall, they're certainly welcome to. And
So what we're looking to do would be to approve this plan, and then at a later date, the ordinance.
the ordinances would come separately, and that would be something you'd consider.
Yeah.
Even at those dates, you would be able to make adjustment in any way you wish, or deny it.
Well, then I'd like to make that, I'd like to make that motion. To approve the franchise fee trail and park improvement plan.
Second.
Motion made and second, any discussion? That include advertising this out more?
Yes.
All right.
And then
Who seconded it? I'm sorry. Thank you.
is seconded?
Yeah.
Yes, I would think a slip.
Well, anything in a
in
mailing.
All right,
explaining
we'll,
what
we'll
this-
proceed with the stuffer and then that would come back to the city council in September.
Perfect.
Thank you. Then I guess,
Any more discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All right,
Opposed? Carried. New business, tractor purchase.
Mr. Mayor, members of council, Public Works is looking at replacing a tractor backhoe with a little bit larger model than what we have. We've become very dependent on this piece of equipment. We're just looking for council approval, if you agree, send our old one to auction and purchase a new one on the current NJPA contract.
And this is in the CIP.
Yes.
okay.
I'll move approval.
A second.
Motion made and seconded. Any discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? That carries.
Thank you.
Park board appointment.
Mr. Mayor, members of council, Travis Conan, he is a state trooper that lives over by Monarch Park. He's shown an interest in being on the park board. Finally twisted his arm enough to get him to fill out an application.
And he was at the last park board meeting.
Yep.
And very impressed on his concern for the parks and everything about Princeton. He loves living here. He picked to live here. He's a trooper for Canada and Mille Lacs, I believe.
Yes.
And he picked Princeton to live here. So I would make motion to appoint Travis Conan to the park board.
Yeah, I'll second it.
Motion made and seconded. Any discussion? All in favor, say aye.
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 Opposed? That carries. The item that was moved down from the consent agenda, Deans of Apple Valley Construction Solicitor.
I don't think there was a cabinet, but what are they soliciting to build?
Do you know that?
I think I need to excuse myself and go get the
Storm,
application.
I got it. Storm damage, roofing, siding, and windows. So they're soliciting for storm damage.
These are all licensed, state licensed. I guess I would be surprised if, I guess they're soliciting. So. But, so does somebody like Glenn's Roofing need to do that too then?
That's a good question. I don't know.
I mean, because I'm getting cards at my house all the time. And if they're required to do that and they're doing it right, why is not everybody else?
I'm guessing this guy's going door to door, and that's what he talks about is his pickup and license plate.
No.
I don't know if Glenn's is or not. I don't.
I'm getting cards at my house.
Cards, yeah, I know cards. They're mailings, it's like getting cards for cars and everything else. So I don't know. I
But
guess.
if they're coming to my door and they're a contractor, they should be having a solicitor's license. Is that what we're saying? Or unless we invite them, then it's different.
Correct.
That would be the distinction. If they are knocking door to door and they're doing a pitch, they should have a solicitor's license. They're sending things in the mail, that's different. As far as actually inserting something in the mailbox, they are not allowed to do that. As far as putting something in the door,
They shouldn't be doing that either. They're soliciting, they're coming to my house and soliciting. But if, our local guys don't have to pay this, why not? Maybe you need to reconsider if they're state licensed, maybe they don't need to do that. I don't know what the answer is. I just find it, this just kind of goes right out of the other permitted food truck kind of thing. It's like, why are we doing this to some people and not others? So, I guess I'm not opposed to approving it, but I would like to know, maybe we need to look at it and make it a little bit more clear on what the rule actually is.
You get that down, Bob, so we can,
Yes,
Get
it
it
is
more
something that
spelled
we'll
out.
be dealing with at the work study session coming up. So we'll take a look.
We either get, maybe we table this one for now.
well,
No, it's, I don't want to table it because, you know, he's wants to invest in Princeton and he needs to do it now if he's going to. And he's following the rules and that's commendable.
yes.
I see nothing wrong with approving his specific one and then discuss it.
Yep.
What you just commented on.
Clarification.
So I'll make a motion to approve the permit for Jeans of Apple Valley for a 5-day permit.
Second.
Motion made and seconded. Any discussion? All in favor, say aye.
All right,
Opposed? That carries. Moving down to miscellaneous. Tom, you had something.
I do, and I just want to let everybody know a heads up that I will not be running for the city council seat this fall. Between work and some other personal things, it's just becoming a little bit too much for me to handle. So just want everybody to have a chance to, consider and jump in if they wanted to, and I'll try to let more people know, but I wanted you to know too. So,
Well, I, for one, am going to say thank you for the training you have been on council and privilege to serve with you.
it's been a little bit, so.
Anybody else have anything for miscellaneous? Bill list.
I move to approve the bill list, which includes the manual checks as listed on the manual bill list for a total of $133,905.94. And the items listed on the liquor bill list and general city bill list, which will be checked 77765 to 77822 for a total of $351,726.73.
Second.
Motion made and seconded. Any discussion on the bill list? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All right.
Opposed? That carries.
And I move to adjourn.
Second.
Motion made and seconded. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed?
Was I too quick on that one?
Perfect.
Jeff seconded it. Did Jeff second it?
Yep.
All right. Thomas, you don't have too many. Thomas doesn't have too many meetings, does he? Thomas doesn't have too many more meetings left.
No, he doesn't. Absolutely.
Okay.
You gotta wait till the 31st if you would. Okay. I've been wanting to put one out in my yard. but probably shouldn't.
Like this.
Probably shouldn't.
Keep going. Stop.
Okay, well, there we go.
No, I understand.
Yeah, right. Can't do that.
Yeah, I don't know. I think I can understand it.
I kicked it around a little bit. And then was what happened. Yeah. And it tipped the scale.
Interesting to hear about that.
I just can't see turning over somebody
I think they,
else. Like that.
when I looked, I went through all this info. I don't know, 2 years,
I
maybe
mean,
3 years ago now.
people
went
can't
through
see
all
that.
this info,
A
went to
blatant
city
that says,
website,
whatever.
And they were 20% higher.
Oh.
All of them.
Yeah.
They're not anymore, so they've done something. Either they've changed or.
Well, they said they've had a couple people retire.
That's-
Oh, yeah.